Morning. So HTML form today. Okay, thank you. We will do it. Okay. So what is a HTML form? So basically, HTML form. Maybe if you see a login name. Okay, this is an example for HTML form. This is an example for HTML form. So you may have a first name, last name, and if you submit, the data will be sent to the server, and server will save the data. Okay. Or sometimes it may process the data, and it will do based on the it will do some calculations, or sometimes it will save the data, or sometimes it will arrange some maybe appointment or whatever. Also sometimes it can be login. Okay, login also login form. Okay, so now so HTML form is used to collect user input. The user input is most often sent to a server for processing. So basically, as I told you, it's sent to a server to process. Okay. So HTML element, this is a form, is the HTML element. Okay. So within the form element, you may have different input elements, labels, or text areas, or whatever. Sometimes you may have radio buttons, submit buttons, checkbox. So these are some different type of elements you may have it. Okay. So the input elements are text field, checkbox, radio button, submit button. Okay, these are the input elements in a input element used in the HTML. Okay, so here text element is used to display a single text or text input field. Okay, radio display as a radio button, checkbox display as a checkbox. Okay, and this is button. Okay, and these are the HTML form elements. So normally within the form you may have input elements, labels, select, and text area, buttons, field set, legend, detail, data list, output. Or sometimes output is used to show some result. Okay, option and opt group. Okay, if the name attribute is omitted, okay, so the value of the input field will not be sent at all. So, okay, so you should have a name attributes. Okay, in a for a given element within the HTML form element, you should have a name attribute. Okay, then only it will identify the variable. Okay, so we will learn that one when you are doing PHP. You will learn that one in detail. We have to use HTML and PHP script, everything we have to use it. Okay, so you will learn that one very easily. So that one maybe after CSS, and maybe in the later section of the this module. Okay. Okay, so now this is an action. There's a attribute called action. So we will do some examples, but you should know. You should. I just am introducing those terms. Okay, the action attribute define the action to be performed when the form is submitted. For example, you can send it to a given PHP file. Okay, PHP script to process the data. Okay, to serve the data. Usually, the form data is sent to a file on the server when the user clicks on the submit button. So, when you click the submit button, in this example below, the form data is sent to a file called. So, here, if you have action and then this page here, this one and this one are same. So, the data will be sent to that file. Okay, that file to process. Okay, this file contains a server side script that handle the form data. Okay, so you should know, remember this one. But when we are doing, and there I cover some important stuff. Method attribute. Okay, the method attribute, it's also an attribute specify HTTP method to be used when submitting the data. Maybe it can be post or it can be get. Okay, so when you so the get is not a good for non-secure. It's good for non-secure data. It is not good for secure data. So you should remember that one. Okay, because anybody can easily check the value on the URL. Okay, this is not an inbuilt. Post data you can't see that one. Okay, so that is one of the like query string in Google. Okay, so for example, any query string, so those things you can send. If you want to send the uh, if you are going to write some query, some, it's okay if the data is not secure, then you can use uh, get. Okay, but if you are using credit card information, then you should not use the get. So that's one you should remember. Okay, uh, and input attributes we okay, input attributes. So input value attribute. Specify the initial value for the input field. Okay, input value attribute, the value attributes. Okay, the read only attribute. So if you input, if you mention read only attribute, that specify input field is read only. If you mention disable, so we will see some examples. Okay, disabled attribute, then the field cannot be, you can use it. Okay, input size is to set the width and width of the in the character of an input field, or maybe 50 line 50 characters or something like that. Minimum maximum, you can set the minimum maximum values. Okay, and pattern is to, for example, if you are using some telephone number, if you are going to get some telephone, you can use the pattern. Okay, so then when you validate, it's automatically tell you there's a error or something. Okay, so that is easy. For if you are using this attribute, you can easily validate. If you use the pattern, you can easily validate the answers. Okay, so now mm, we will do some example. Okay, okay, so this one is a empty file. Okay, okay, so now so I'm going to copy the default header. Okay, okay, so now if you browse it, if you see that one, so you can't see anything. Okay, you can't see anything. Okay, so now I'm going to paste a 4. Okay, so here you can see label. First name, there's a label, then there's an input. Okay, then last name, this is for the last name. Okay, L name, that is the variable, or maybe it is not important for, but label, last name, and the ID is also given. Maybe we will learn ID, we already learned. You can have unique values. Okay, maybe it is a unique identifier. Okay, unique identifier for each elements. You can have here also you can have last name or something, maybe only one. Okay, so now I save that one, and now if I refresh that, here you can get to input field. Okay, so now I'm going to use some radio buttons. Okay, radio buttons. Okay, so now I'm going to use, sorry, so now if I see that one, here this form, here this is a separate form. Okay, here you have to see. Okay, name is same name for all radio buttons. Okay, favorite language then only you can get a, you can get one value from, you can treat this one as a group. Okay, you can set only one, maybe either HTML or either CSS or JavaScript. Okay, you can't select everything, or you can select, you can do multiple select. Okay, multiple select you can't do it. Okay, so and how do you, so for example here if I say okay, you can, I will treat two. Okay, now I can select JavaScript and either one C, because these two are in one group. Okay, here, sorry, I had to refresh it. Okay, here, but not, can you see this one, you should remember that one. Okay, this one you should remember. Okay, so now checkbox, we will see how the checkbox. Okay, this is some checkbox, so each different form. So here checkbox you can do multiple, you can select multiple stuff. Okay, you don't need to if you want you can select bike or not. It's up to independent, individually you can select. Okay, you have to select, so multiple option is available. Okay, so now we will do uh, with the submit button. Okay, with this one is the similar to the first one, but with the submit button. Okay, with the submit button. Okay, here with the submit button. Okay, so here we don't have, here you can see the values. Okay, because this is a post, sorry, get. Okay, these values are posted. Okay, so now here, here in this example, okay, here you can see name attribute. So okay, you should have, for example, if I remove that one. Okay, if I remove that one and I save it. Okay, we'll see what is happening. Here only f name is sent, not the last name, L name. Okay, so that is the one you should know. Okay, so now we will see the options. So here you can choose one. Okay, either Zap or Volvo, whatever you want, or Audi. Okay, so this is, so you can use these thing, many things within a form based on your requirement. Okay, so I am just explaining I'm showing some stuff. Okay, now we'll see. This is, I want to show you the legend. Okay, it will give you a the form is bordered and the personalia will be labeled on the table. Okay, on the form. Okay, the form is named. Maybe it's like here. You can see. Okay, you can see. This is the only different. Okay, so now hidden. So here I'm I want to show you the hidden field. Okay, so here the input type is hidden. Okay, so then you don't see this one. Okay, you don't see this one on the front end. Okay, so now I say this one here only first name. Okay, you don't have the customer ID on the screen. Okay, so you should know that also. So this is for number input. Okay, this is for number input. Okay, if you want to get some number in quantity, minimum 1 to 5. Okay, so now, okay, here if you use arrows you can't have more than 5. Lower one is minimum is 1 and maximum is 5. Okay, okay, but you can type here. When you type it will say you the value must be less than, it's automatically validated. Okay, see you. When you enter it will show you. Okay, put 0 and if you enter it will show you the value must be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so it's automatically validated. Now I will show you some telephone. Okay, telephone number. If you are going to get the telephone number of a customer, the pattern should be 0 to 9 3 digits, 0 to 9 2 digits, 0 to 9 3 digit. Okay, so now if you see, why we had to put dash. Okay, we had to put dash. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, otherwise you won't get it. Okay, so you can use this input type telephone and with the pattern. So and basically you should have this attribute in order to get an appropriate telephone number. Okay, so and if you're going to browse a file. Okay, you want to pick up a file name or file path, then use input type file. Okay, so now if I show you here, you can choose from whatever you want. Okay, so this is just a simple HTML to pick the file. Okay, so here maybe you can pick and open. Okay, here the file name is automatically, so then you can access the my file name. This is the variable. Okay, my file is the variable. Okay, here my file is the variable, so you can submit the value. Okay, so now mm, okay, volume. So now I'm going to show you another type, range. Okay, so range. So the range is used to, maybe it's like a slide. It's like a, you can slide the uh, user interface and get it. Okay, here you can get it. Okay, this is how you can set the values. Okay, so maximum is 50 and minimum is 0. Okay, you can the then if you are going to use the, if you are using this one, the user can't insert a wrong value. Okay, he can't insert a wrong value. Why? How do you set the maximum and minimum? Here these are the maximum, and this is how you can set it. Okay, this is how you can set it. So now we are going to use output. Okay, so output. Okay, output, output. This is an interesting thing. Okay, so here in the form element you have another attribute on input. Okay, on input you should have this. Here you set the values. Okay, you set the x value. So here you have a output variable. Okay, this will show you when you get some input. Okay, one it's automatically process and it will get the value. Okay, so now 0. Okay, there are two input types. One is range. Okay, that one you can set uh, uh, set a value. Okay, you can set a value between 0 and 100. Okay, 0 and 100. And there's another input that is a number type. It's like a text box. Okay, text box, and you will get a number. The and default value is 50. And here is in the for the range also the default value is 50. Okay, default value is 50. Okay, so now when you when you insert a value, it will automatically calculate the value for output. Okay, value for output. Okay, that is x, the variable name, the name is x. Okay, so here x value, or how do you calculate the x value? A value plus you have to convert that one into integer. Pass in mean convert the string into a number. Okay, so this value into integer plus this value into integer. So basically a and b, the values you have to add the values. Okay, so now I save it and I refresh that one. Okay, I refresh that one. Okay, so here if I put 60, here 160. Okay, 160, and if I change this one. Okay, okay, so I refresh that one again. So default value for this one is 50, and here this is 50. Okay, I'm going to change. Maybe if you if you want to keep it same, just retype it. Okay, 100. Or if I put 60, it will get the value automatically. It will calculate. Okay, so because this is the output value. Okay, output value. But normally we don't use the output field element, but you should know there is a output field also. Okay, thank you.